Wow. A little bit loud, don't you think?
Quite. A little bit loud.
Yeah. I can't even do it. Hang on. All right. Nice fade from Chief Chappaquiddick. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing swell.
Hey, thank you, folks. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the StewKast Wrestling Podcast. Appreciate it. I am Lou Marconi, at LMarconi251 on Instagram, at LMarconi1973 on Twitter. My friend, co-host, and hetero partner, Corey Castle, at Corey Castle everywhere. This is the StewKast.
The only one there.
Corey Castle. This is a wrestling podcast on the Combat Zone Network and a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network with a brand new sponsor, Heritage Coffee Roasters. The link is in the show description. Please check it out. Click on the link. Great coffee, great roast. Check it out. Thank you. Thank you for sponsoring us, Heritage.
An array of flavors that you'd be doing yourself a disservice by not trying them all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Possibly. Yeah. Hang on. Yeah, possibly. Sherry's texting me right now. She just asked if Fans First Sports Network has any female podcasts. I don't think they do. I don't think they do. But go ahead.
Female Fans First. 3 Fs. throw another F in there. F it up.
F it up. Sherry, I'm on live right now. She's texting me. Sherry, I'm on live. Okay, look. Let's talk. We could talk about the AEW Wembley show. We could talk about the SmackDown and Raw. What did you want to do first, Corey? You okay? You need some coffee?
I can't comment too much about the AEW show except for some of the highlights that I saw. Same here. I didn't see everything, so I can't comment with my full expertise on it because it's not like it's something I've fully consumed. But I did watch all of SmackDown and all of Raw. So let's kind of dive into what we can say and what we can comment on from what we've seen from All In.
I'm not surprised MJF dropped his belt. And I'm not surprised that with Brian Danielson, he switches it, that he went over. I'm not surprised by that either. He had to celebrate with his family in the ring. Beautiful family, Daniel. And it really didn't surprise me. The thing that got me the most was what I was watching the highlights and watching the matches was it seems like there's a lot of false finishes with like finishing moves. And I think I see it more in AEW than I do in WWE. And that's the old school me going like, you hit a guy with a DDT on the outside of the ring, it's over. That's it. He's dead, you know. But then they get up and keep doing spots, and he's hitting the ropes like 2 seconds later or 2 minutes later, and it's like, ooh, kind of makes me cringe. I don't know. What do you think?
I feel very similar. But also, those are matches I didn't get to see too many highlights of. I saw I'm not a huge fan of clustery things. Well, like many people, like overwhelmingly too many people in a match. The stuff where whatever there was like that gauntlet that like trios tag titles.
Mm-hmm. I saw that too. Yeah, we'll get to that, Tim. Thank you. We were gonna do it at the end of the show. We're gonna pay tribute to Sid, but go ahead. Too many
people in a match, and it feels like shoehorning people onto a card. That's what I've always felt about big multi-man things because they're not as fun for the fans as you thought they'd be. They're overwhelming for the fans. You can't even follow it. It's like what's the consequence of anything? And especially like I'm sure. I mean, you've heard Cornette talk about it that people like just disappear on the outside and they're just like watching it from like barely selling it, but they're waiting for their time to come in. And it's like that's got to be overly exposing how much of a work this is. Like,
Well, that go ahead, yeah, because a lot of times the guy gets hit with a big move instead of selling the move and letting the audience take the time to digest what just happened. They're getting up and they're getting into the next spot because they're afraid of forgetting the next spot.
right,
That's what I
right.
think. I don't know, so I see that a lot in AEW. But go ahead.
That's a they don't have a performance center. They don't have coaches that are. I mean, they have coaches, but their coaches aren't speaking up on these things. I think, um, they're afraid to lose their free lunch, perhaps. Um,
Lose their job, yeah. Probably afraid to lose. Who are the road agents there? I don't know who any of the road agents in AEW are.
Dean Malenko,
Really?
yeah. Um,
Sorry, yeah.
uh, I'm not all the way certain who else is, but that's the only one I think I know off the top of my head. That's something definitely to do a little googling on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's check that out right now.
Yeah, check it out. So I was thinking while watching the show and the trios championship and all this and the women's match, it really, I mean, that's just the thing that bothers me. And okay, I sent you that reel with Scott Demore.
Yes, exactly. I was about to bring that up too.
Yeah, I sent that on purpose before the show. People, if you were ever see Scott Demore, I think is he still with Impact? I know he left Impact.
Yeah, he just started a new thing. He got fired from Impact, and
Yeah,
I guess like the idea was he was looking to take over uh, TNA, and they fired him. And he started his own thing. He just started his own thing in Canada, but I don't
yeah,
remember what.
yeah. I knew him. Well, I knew him like I wrestled with WWE or back then WWF and ECW. And the last time I saw him was I was with the NWA up in Michigan, and he had the best Paul Heyman impression you can ever come across. It was so funny. But he made a great point, and he talked about a quote from a wrestler talking about this specific other wrestler that it was too cartoonish the way he sold and too much like a clown and nobody would take him seriously.
Right.
And he said, "Who do you think said that?" And most people are saying, well, "That sounds like Jim Cornette talking about Orange Cassidy," which you could very well say that. When it actually, in fact,
That
it
was from
was,
a Chris Van Fleet episode. Yeah, that was Chris Van
yeah,
Fleet that was giving him those
yeah.
guesses.
And in
Yeah.
fact, he was quoting Lou Thez talking about Harley Race.
Yeah.
And everybody in the Harley Race era and after that will tell you Harley Race was a dude you didn't mess with.
Right.
He would get into fights in bars and win because he was an NWA World Champion to prove his point. So that's
Right.
just how he did it. So it's going about different eras, and his point was that wrestling is always changing, and he's willing to go with it. Yes and no. I think the casual fan, might be coming back a little bit more, but I don't think they're going to AEW. I think they're going to WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's evidenced by the ratings. That's evidenced by the houses. That's evidenced by the advertisers. There's
Right.
very it's very apparent that that casual fans aren't sticking with AEW.
No, it doesn't look that way. It doesn't look that way at all. And
I
but
mean,
they can turn it around.
They looked like they filled that building in Wembley, but who knows what the smoke and mirrors of that whole thing is.
Well, I don't know what the house was for the show.
No.
I have no idea.
I did find a list on Wikipedia of the road agents or coaches, producers for AEW.
Okay. What do you got?
I'll read that list to you and see if you can leave a comment for each of these individuals. Number one on the list that I found here is Chris Hero.
Oh, I know Chris. Yeah. Yeah, I know
Any
Chris.
other comments?
I know Chris, which surprises me. Who else? Who else is a road agent?
Dean Malenko, which I already said. Glacier, Jerry
Okay.
Lynn,
Oh, Jerry Lynn. I know Jerry Lynn too.
Jimmy
Yeah.
Jacobs, Kevin Matthews.
Okay.
I don't know. Michael Nakazawa. Robert Evans. I don't know who that is. Sarah Stock. Scotty Too Hottie. And Tony
Scotty Too
Shimmer.
Hottie. Okay.
I mean, did you work with Scotty back in the day? Did you work with Scotty back in the day with the two?
I never worked with him in the ring, but I've been on shows with him and been in locker rooms with him. He's a good guy. Him and Brian Christopher.
Mhm.
Yeah. Lord rest his soul.
You
trying to
look day.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and switch gears to SmackDown. Obviously, there's great build-up they're doing with Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit surprised at the end of that tag match because I thought there would be more of an altercation between Owens and Rhodes, but they didn't do that. But otherwise, SmackDown was a good show, and the Roman Reigns stuff that they're doing, they're building up. They're making what is that to be the tribal chief? Yeah, they're making that mean more than some belts other places,
Right.
and the bracelet on Raw. So, So just to be honest with you, I really I enjoyed SmackDown. I've been starting to watch wrestling again on a regular basis because of this show. So I'm looking forward to Saturday night, Bash at Berlin. That's what next week's show is going to be, strictly Bash at Berlin.
Right.
And what I'm going to do right now, speaking of which, since we're here, we do have other sponsors we have to pause for. So let's do that right now. Okay. Good. Thank you. We're back. Now let's go ahead and continue the SmackDown talk. Go ahead. Tell me what do you think of the show?
SmackDown is watchable. It's very watchable. There are some things that I can kind of skip over and I'll be all right with missing. There's certain performances I don't mind missing, but for the most part, it's watchable. It's like, oh, okay. Any casual fan could turn this on and be like, oh, I'll check this out. I'll continue watching this to see what happens.
Yeah. I think, just to be honest, if you want to talk about the weakest, is I think the women's matches on SmackDown are probably the weakest. And that's not being sexist. That's just being observant. The work isn't as good.
Well, going back to talking about how I said, when there's matches with too many people in it, people can't keep track. So, when they have all these, women's factions and they have all this, these, women's tag matches, people get, start kind of losing track. The funny thing about it is the whole storyline of Bayley turning babyface was she's turning babyface because Damage Control was gossiping behind her back and she found out and blah blah blah, and now Damage Control is babyfaces too, with no explanation of why Bayley's not a part of it. So Bayley and Damage Control are simultaneously baby faces, but it's not acknowledged. I guess because has Bayley gone since she lost the
I haven't seen her
at SummerSlam?
I haven't seen her. I don't know if was she hurt or is she just taking time off.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. But I did want to comment on the the faction of Sonya Deville, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark, the Fusion Collective. I think the name is clunky. It's difficult, but I guess they maybe they thought that whatever the initials are, PFC or whatever, maybe they thought it meant for something. It stand for something else, and they just wanted to use those letters because in backstage it might stand for something else. But I'm not sure. But I'm a huge fan of Shayna Baszler. I think that Shayna Baszler she's a hell of a worker for sure.
Oh yeah. I'm just saying, there's some other ones that just some of the things I just think, I don't know. I'm trying to remember the name of the one that I was really like, you there? I can't hear you.
Yeah, I
There you
muted
go.
me for a second because I was going to talk to Alyssa. She just walked down here.
Oh, okay. It's okay. We're
So I was
live.
mute. I understand that we're live, but I was muting it so that you wouldn't.
I was just wondering. I thought, oh, great. I lost audio on Corey, I should say. Okay. Yeah, the SmackDown show is. I mean, it's watchable. I agree with you. There's parts of it that I like that were better. I like what they're doing with the Tribal Chief stuff, and I like what they're doing with Cody and Kevin Owens. So that right there alone is worth watching. Next is switching gears to Raw. Did you see Raw?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Braun Strowman and
I was not looking forward to that match at all. I was like, who cares, really?
two big guys. Yeah.
But then the some of the spots they did, some of the things that made it interesting. Like taking it outside of the ring, you wouldn't expect to see two big guys like that doing that sort of stuff. So it kept it watchable.
Yeah, watchable. What did you think of that spot on the outside on the car?
But the car, it was cool. I mean, it was something. It was money drawing feud stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's really making Bronson. This is it's funny because there's three guys named Braun on the show, and there's never been another time where something like that would happen. There's Bronson Reed, Braun Strowman, and Braun Breaker. Like you'd think that they'd be like, maybe we want to break that up a bit.
Then they'll have Charles Bronson. Did anybody catch that joke? I mean, I was like, that just aged myself. Death Wish.
What's the guy? What was the guy who was in Planet of the Apes?
Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. That's
Heston.
right.
Yeah, Charlton Heston. Charles Bronson was Death Wish. He was the Death Wish movies and the Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
So
those I've never seen those at all.
You never saw the Death Wish movies? Mm-mm. The Dirty Dozen was like an old World War II movie.
Nope, never saw it. But Dirty Dozen also automatically makes me think of like D12 and Eminem. So maybe that's a good branding on there and good marketing.
Yeah. Okay. What did you? Let me just let me think. What was the match? Oh, we got to talk about the Uncle Howdy.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
he was way bigger than the last time we saw him as Bo Dallas for sure. The wig was weird to like be working in that. It's like a strange, like a lot, and it. I mean, Kane did it, but it wasn't as long and weird. So like you could see it like kind of going weird when like his real hair would come out. Like so it was just a little strange, and it was like maybe a little less thought out than normal WWE thought out things are. But
yeah.
And it's interesting to me that like every member of the Wyatt Six takes their masks off and wrestles as themselves, and Bo Dallas does promos as himself, but then will get in the ring and wrestle as Uncle Howdy. That's kind of bizarre to me. But dude, his promo was sick in the beginning of Raw. It was so good. It was something that would make you want to watch that match happen.
Oh yeah. I was looking forward to it, and Chad Gable. I enjoy watching Chad Gable work. So absolutely. I tell you, I'm just going to be honest, and I know I'm going to piss off AEW fans, but I don't care. WWE is here. AEW is here. And there's no doubt about it.
AEW fans they're falling off the ship. You know what I mean? So it's not even like
No.
the few that are left will get mad, but they'll get mad about anything and everything. Like there are people
Well,
who get so like easily triggerable. Did you see the thing about Ricochet coming back, or Ricochet debuted in AEW in part of a forgettable gauntlet thing that 100 people were in that no one. It's like it's cool for that second. The same thing with the Nigel McGuinness coming back. It's cool for that pop, and then it's forgettable when you're on to the next pop.
right.
It's
Sorry.
just a
Yeah,
weird pacing.
it is weird. It is weird. But no, hey man, I appreciate the opinion on it and all that. I just think do you think it's to the point where WCW is right now?
It's the difference is WCW was run by like it was half run by like wrestling writers and
Hmm.
half run by like wrestlers who were like real like in the business for a long time, sort of
Hmm.
like had the future of the business in mind, and like this kind of seems like they're just they're just collecting paychecks from some billionaire.
Yeah, it's almost WCW they were doing that. Let's see. I'm trying to look here. Anything because we're going to talk Bash at Berlin next week, and that's
Mhm.
Saturday night. And I want to get here. So we got some matches here. Any predictions you want to throw out?
I think we're probably going to see a Randy Orton heel turn. Just my guess. Maybe also a Kevin Owens heel turn. Um,
Hmm.
if not one, and then both, and if not both, then one or the other. I
Yeah,
just
because
circled around. I just did circle talk. if if not one, then both. If not both, then one. This is the same thing two ways.
yeah. Well, I'm looking here like women's tag team championship is. Oh, they
I,
got the
I
Bianca
looked on
Belair, Jade Cargill, and
Alpha
yeah,
Five.
Aisha Dawn, Elma Fudd. Did you say Elma Fudd?
It does sound like Elmer Fudd,
Alba
doesn't it?
Fire, Alba Fire. Yeah,
Alba
we got
Fire and Isla
CM
Dawn.
Punk and Drew McIntyre in the strap match, and well, oh yeah, the mixed tag. You got Damian Priest, Rhea Ripley, Dominic Mysterio, Liv Morgan. Um, I don't see Cody and Gunther dropping their belts. I don't.
Yeah, they're too new into their championship reigns. I
Yeah,
mean,
and is there any
especially
other? Yeah, I'm
Gunther.
sorry. These are like the five matches that I see here in the lineup. Is there any other ones that we're missing? I would think there's probably one or two more matches, maybe, or is this it? Is it just the five matches?
Well, did they have Solo Sokoa in anything?
I don't see anything on this. I'm on MMA Knockout site. I'm just seeing if there's any other matches I'm supposed because I just Googled like Bash at Berlin lineup, and that's what it gave me. All
Right.
right, let me see. Let me see here. This is Sports Illustrated. I'm gonna do. All right, Bash at Berlin 2024 start time. It's Saturday night, August 31st, and it's the same thing. It's the same thing. Yep, this is SportsIllustrated.com. Hold on.
Trying to think of who else isn't announced and what else they could be doing.
That could be anything.
But also, also they sometimes like to keep their international cards short. So I'm
Then
just trying to.
then they should book the midgets.
That's the best way to keep it short.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to think like there's no intercontinental championship match. Braun Breaker doesn't have one.
I don't see a U.S. championship match with L.A. Knight.
Right.
I don't see that, and that's another one I think he's a great talent. It's that him on SmackDown is fantastic. That was a really good match that he had on SmackDown too. I completely forgot to bring that up. That's my fault. So yeah, those are the only matches I could find right now. So if there's probably some other ones,
Who did he wrestle on SmackDown?
what the hell is
I'm
that
sure
guy's
it'll
name?
come to me once you say it. Um,
I'm gonna probably screw it up. I'm gonna mispronounce it.
Andrade,
Andrade.
or was it, was it Santos Escobar, or was it Andrade?
I think it was Andrade. I don't think it was Escobar.
Okay.
Yeah, let me take a look here because you know what, I got to start writing stuff down when I watch shows because I take in so much wrestling and I'm trying to sit here and talk about it a couple days later. It's like being able to retain it in my old age.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Go ahead.
It was funny because I was just talking the other night to Alyssa about how I remember like songs that I sang in kindergarten, and I can remember songs that I sang for communion in second grade, but I can't remember like full ass like sincere conversations I've had with real people like a month ago. Like my brain doesn't retain all the new stuff.
Right. So okay, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap this show up. I'm the same way. But before we wrap it up, I wanted to say that there was something that was really nice on Monday Night Raw, and Tim Lyons brought it up. Unfortunately, the passing of Sid Vicious, Psycho Sid Justice. I didn't even know he was sick. He was 63 years old and he died of cancer. And he was a good guy. You know what? I worked with him. Didn't work in the ring with him, but in the backstage area when I was at WWF, he was there. Was really kind of a good guy. He could talk. He was a big Dallas Cowboys fan, and we talked football all the time. So he was a good dude. And his son Gunther posted the news on Facebook, the unfortunate death of his father. So Sid, rest in peace. Thank you for what you've done, and wanted to at least pay tribute to him. And I thought WWE did a really nice job with that.
When I was a kid and I wanted to be a wrestler, I thought that I would grow to the size of Sid. Like that was the ideal. That was the ideal like version of me that I like wished for when I was a kid. I wanted to be a wrestler. I was like, I'll grow up to be Sid's size, and like this will
Sid size. Jeez.
This will.
He was huge. He was enormous.
Yeah, he was.
Nice dude though. Nice guy to me. And he was a nice guy. He was a good dude. But all right, well, he was known as Softball Sid.
CW house show back in the day, man. It was very cool for me to see him.
He was a softball enthusiast. They called him Softball Sid.
Right.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining us. We'll be back next Wednesday. We're going to review Bash at Berlin. Strictly, that show's going to be Bash at Berlin. I think it's going to be really great. I appreciate everybody that watched the show. Like, comment, share, subscribe. This is the StewKast Wrestling Podcast on the Combat Zone Network, a subsidiary of the Fans First Sports Network. Check out our sponsor, who is the Heritage Coffee Roasters. Check it out. The website's on the description. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us. I'm about to take it home. You have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Show's over.
Show's over.